ill and struggling a lot, and then he came back and he won it last year in Brussels, which was phenomenal to win that title twice. And I think the Danish athlete, he's someone that's going to be licking his lips right now. He's going to be looking at everyone else saying, you give up, and it does level the playing field, and I think bring a lot of other athletes back into the conversation.
I think it's a very good point. Also, someone to note, James West, he's already inside that European qualifying standard of 13:20, 13:19. He ran in Boston, a nice warm indoor bike track, quite the opposite here at Leicester tonight. But what can he do? 3 times British champion now. He won that British indoor 3,000 metres as well. Zach said it, he got 3rd at that British Championships indoors over 3K. Kadar Omar, he's worth pointing out, Hannah, because he's a regular at one of these events. And does he hold the course record, or is that Omar Ahmed?
Omar Ahmed holds the course record at the moment, 13:57. You've got to feel like that's super vulnerable right now. And how about that? Ben Patterson, the bronze medalist from the World Championships over 800, the surprise bronze medalist. Again, how often have we seen athletes like this testing themselves and getting themselves out here on a long race at this time of year?
And here they go then on the line. Chris Barnes, race director, will set them off just to give you an example of the weather conditions here. Rain horizontally coming down, the wind picking up as well. Not ideal. We're going to get a true run 5,000 meter race today, and as darkness set in, so did the rain. Unfortunately, it's been dry all day, overcast as well. But these athletes will have to just do battle and compete out there, which is my favourite way to watch running, that's for sure. And someone we didn't mention, Jake Whiteman, look at him, elbows out on that start line as well. What sort of form is he? And he's been down in Australia, so a bit of a shock to the weather conditions. He'll get out hard as well. So these elite men, off they go then. And Hannah, can you spot Hagos Gebrhiwet? I know he's Italian. He's on the far left in the red, so worth identifying for the viewers at home. He is repping his new brand, ASICS. This is the unveiling of his partnership with that brand now as well.
Looks like Gebrhiwet is tucking in there somewhat, maybe to hiding from this British weather. And unfortunately, Alex Yee isn't here. I had a text from Pete Riley, who works with him at New Balance, and he said he's not actually made the start line, so that's a shame. It's been wonderful to see the athletes 3rd all-time on the British 5K rankings. Mix it up with these athletes here, but lots of class in this field nonetheless, and a whole kind of host of pacemakers here to escort them, maybe a lap and a half or so.
Yeah, and another athlete I think worth identifying, Tyler Billiard. Is he doing a bit of pacing? Looks like he's on some pacing duties, Hannah. But Daniel Kosen, who we haven't mentioned, the Kenyan, just 20 years of age, 27:01, his lifetime best over 10,000. And that was on the road. That was in Valencia last year. And well, recent form, Hannah. Not much on him, not much on some of these East Africans, but he was 15th to the cross country in Eldoret. And whenever I see a sort of top 20 finish, I think, well, you must be in pretty good form, that's for sure.
That cross-country race in Eldoret is something else. I've never done it. I would never try to go anywhere near it. I would really suffer, but it's a spectacle to watch, and anyone that can get up involved in that is really impressive, and certainly one to watch, and someone we know has got a lot of form. Current form, Will Barnaker, I think I saw him slotted a little bit further back in a yellow vest, and there I think he's just over to the left-hand side of the picture there, and we know Barnaker's in shape.
Well, and it's worth mentioning these elite races where athletes will be representing brands a lot more, of course, not just sponsored athletes, but also athletes who haven't got a sponsorship and will be wearing the brand's kit and testing out their shoes. It was one of the things at Podium Festival, which is quite revolutionary, really, just telling these really good sub-elites here, look, come and run, we'll give you kit, test it out, and rep our brand and see how well you can do. And Hannah, it's something, the sport, you know, this team aspect of the sport, for me, it needs to grow. Michael Johnson, all this talk about the track league and stuff, but obviously running being so individual, I think you bring in a wider audience when you make it a little bit more team focused.
I love the team element, for instance, for something like the European Team Championship, so you are really counting those athletes. And if, for instance, the Belgian team in Brussels, to get that gold medal in front of a home crowd, just added another element to it. So I would love to see training groups get to compete as a team in something like this, kind of say, oh look, we turn up week in, week out. We might not be affiliated to the same club, but we've got the same coach and we do all our miles together. That could be a fun element as well.
Absolutely. So through this first lap, I mean, inside the first lap well, they were inside 240, weren't they? So lapping just under 200 meters, they're going to be 251, 250-ish, and it's a big group at the moment. It's thinning out just a little bit. Everyone looks fairly relaxed and comfortable in the darkness. The pacemakers have dropped out. I was wondering how far they were going to get, because again, doubling back from that 1K time trial, so we'll be able to see who is actually at the front of this race and who is involved for the big prize money.
It is wet down there. I've seen a few athletes slipping as well. That is something athletes have said about the super shoes, that they can be a little bit slippy and a little bit hard going when the ground is wet. We have still got Tyler Billiard in here pacemaking. Is that Axel's second? No, that's another pacemaker still. I think Axel Van Christensen must be a tiny bit further down the field.
It's Ben Murphy pacing, Hannah, by the looks of things, but the one man we can spot quite easily, and that is Will Barnicoat, wearing that yellow singlet of Puma, and at the moment looks very, very good indeed. And I was disappointed the National Cross got cancelled. I wanted to see him put on a display. I thought he was going to run the inter-counties, but I think he decided against it, and he thought, you know what, I'll get here and see how fast I can run over 5,000 ahead of what will be an electric World Cross. You know that one for sure.
There are so many high-quality athletes just streaming underneath our commentary position. Barnicoat made a big move there. You can see he's just got to get himself on the back of the other athletes here. 1, 3 and 7, Gebrhiwet, Kosen, Langat and Will Barnicoat just slotting in there. He's had enough of battling it with the domestic guys behind, and he's leapfrogged up into contention with the East Africans at the front.
Well, Daniel Kosen is on the right of picture in that Adidas singlet as well. World Under-20 bronze medalist over the 1500 in 2022. And that, in fact, Hannah, was a World Junior Championships that Will Barnicoat was present at. I believe he ran in the 3000 that day, and was by no means on terms with Daniel Kosen. But as the years go by, and the confidence with this young man grows, he's got 13:45 personal best. You can almost rip that up and throw it out the window, can't you? Because we know Barnicoat's worth more than that. I think he's only run 1 or 2, and that was last season.
No, Barnicoat is one of those athletes. He doesn't chase fast times. He loves the cross country. He fully invests in that. We see him do a lot of cross country. But it comes to the track. He's spoken about it in Athletics Weekly this week as well. He wants to get that 1500 metre time down, but he's clearly got the engine and the ability to be so good over 5 and 10. And I wonder if he's just rolling the dice here tonight. He's just gambling, he's pushing the envelope, seeing what will happen, because this is a bold and a risky strategy from Barnicoat. And he's looking at this stage as they come towards the end of the second lap like he might be about to get isolated ever so slightly.
To be honest, my fear now with Barnicoat is exactly that. He may well be isolating. He's got a hungry bunch of top British domestic runners in behind him who are going to want to hunt him down over the next few laps on this course. And what are they? Well, they're well under 6 minutes, aren't they, for over 2 laps run? So, well, you'd expect that, to be honest. But even 5:40 would be around about 13:45 pace. So we're getting a lot of men inside that, so I think we're going to see a lot of sub-14 clockings, and but now the East Africans really take to the realm, and Gebrhiwet up front looks very, very comfortable. They're just pitter-pattering, tiptoeing around this track almost.
Great running from Gebrhiwet, and I was really impressed with him in the summer. It was a real return to form at that Monaco Diamond League, getting back down to 12:42. It was almost a throwback to see him sprinting down the home straight, and that was one of the fastest times he'd run since 2018 or something like that. So he's very much back to his best. Whether he's been struggling with illness or injury, I'm not sure, but Gebrhiwet launched that comeback sort of last summer, and it's carried it through to the winter as well.
Well, and how about the ding-dong? Him and Kejelcha had it at World Road Running Championships in October over 5K. Gebrhiwet came out on top. Just a bit of news for you. Kejelcha 26:36 today over 10K, beating Cheptegei on the roads. And, well, Kejelcha was one of the guys who almost dethroned Gebrhiwet, wasn't he? Gebrhiwet was the man in Ethiopia, and Kejelcha and Barega came along and said, move out the way. And I think it did knock his confidence a little bit. And he may well have had injuries along the way as well, but he's back, and he's back with a bang, and we're halfway through this race, just over.
The first time Amos Langat repping ASICS as well. I think it's ASICS kit he's wearing as well, just pushing himself up alongside Gebrhiwet. Langat's had a quiet race so far, and he's got decent accolades to his name. He's a young athlete, silver medalist at the African Under-20 Championships, but here he is going toe-to-toe with someone like Gebrhiwet, trying to announce himself on the senior stage. And I wonder, I hope any times that they run today, they need to have an asterisk next to them to say it's rainy, it's windy, the weather has deteriorated here in Leicester. We've not got the wonderful weather we had earlier on this afternoon.
That's definitely a track runner talking, Hannah. Goodness me. But Will Barnicoat looking good in 4th place in the race. He's leading the domestic field at the moment. He's having a very, very good run out, but I can say there is a large pack forming behind him. And I think the likes of James Wester in that pack, Axel Christensen we mentioned as well, and those men are actually starting to look around to each other and say, look, who's going to take this up? Because Barnicoat's there, we can get onto him, but someone needs to move things along. Nick Griggs as well, unfortunately, seems to be dominated by 1500 metre runners, that pack.
Barnacle is running isolated. I would not want to look over my shoulder if I was Will Barnacle and see a pack of that quality all running together, all looking good. Barnacle has got to really hold his resolve together as they do another 2 laps of this circuit. That's a long time to be on his own. I think Barnacle is holding the British hopes at the moment in 4th place, but he could do with one of these athletes in front of him just faltering and just slowing down to give him a bit of help.
Well, it's Amos Langat, in fact, who is the other athlete on the shoulder of Gebrhiwet. Is he making a move now after 3 laps of this course? Amos Langat, second of those African under-20 champs over 10k last year. Only a 28-27 PB at just 19 years of age. I say only, fairly modest when you're taking on Gebrhiwet and going toe for toe. But that's what's on paper. Of course, we don't have many records for a lot of these athletes, but sure as hell, they must be fit. They've travelled all this way, and he's going to want to take home that prize money too.
Kosen just having a quiet race. You mentioned this in the B race. Who do we look for that's having a quiet, calm race, keeps themselves out of trouble, and then saves a bit of energy? This is the penultimate lap. We are getting to the business end here in the men's A race at the Podium Festival, and we've got these 3 at the front. Will Barnacle just behind, and that pack, Matt, they are looking seriously good. That chase pack.
Well, and the problem is there's just strength in numbers, isn't there? There's 8 of them. There's a little pack with Jake Wyman, Zach Seddon in that pack as well. I think Malloy might be in there too. There's a little crop of 4 just off of that chase pack off the leaders. So yeah, there's a few packs out there. The rest of the field, though, Hannah, strung out in single file, and these conditions very demanding for these athletes out there. But how about this thing? 1, 2, 3 with almost a lap to run.
7 on his chest. Amos Langat running at the front at the moment. 28-27 his personal best, 19 years old. That's a 10k on the road, so he's miles behind the likes of Daniel Kosen with his 27.01 run in Valencia last autumn. So the man with number 7 on his chest is outperforming his ranking here. He's really going for it. He's pushing. This is the penultimate lap, and if you are feeling good and you kind of think this is the moment where you go, I'll just have a go. Today might be my day to outperform my ranking and take a victory over athletes that should maybe don't have the right to be running with.
Well, for me, Kamayo, far right of picture, is the one to watch. He's got the 1500 credentials. He's achieved success at a world junior level over the 1500. He's a taller of the 3 of them as well, isn't he? And I just fear when he senses weakness in the other 2, how can he kick? But Hannah, I don't think we can argue with Hagos Gebrhiwet, a man of his quality. He's kicked with the best of them. He's got so much time in the bank, as it were. He must be on a bit of a threshold at the moment. So they are well and truly into their last lap. Barnsley's rung the bell here at the very first Podium Festival.
Gebrhiwet is looking good at the front. I'm just trying to pick out the pack as they go behind. We have just seen Jake Whiteman coming through, the 1500 metre world champion. I think that's him in the next pack, perhaps. There's just so much high quality. He's running in that group there with his training partner, Zach Seddon. They're moving really well through with a lap to go, 11 minutes, 20 seconds or so. There's some personal bests that are going to be absolutely torn apart despite the challenging conditions here.
Well, a little bit further back as well, coming through, Oscar Bell. I could see him wearing the nice saw outfit, actually. Colourful colours, making it easy for us in the commentary booth. So Amos, Langat and Gebrhiwet, they're absolutely flying there, stride for stride on this back straight, soaking up the noise from the crowd. Kamayo as well, nothing separating these men. And Hannah, I'm trying to predict sort of what time we can be looking forward to seeing out of these men. We're just under 12 minutes on the clock. I think we're going to see something around about 13:20, and then we're definitely going to be inside that course record, but nothing electric in these conditions.
Hagos Gebrhiwet, he pushed at the front, he made it honest, he took these 3 athletes away from the rest of the field, and then he let the other athletes push on a little bit, see what they had in their locker. And then I think Gebrhiwet has just waited here for this last lap. Perhaps when he came here to Leicester in the UK, he might have thought, how fast can I run? Could I run one of the fastest times all time? And unfortunately, perhaps with that rain coming down in his warm-up, he's turned it into a bit more of a tactical race. But Gebrhiwet, he's made his bid here for me. He's looking around, he's really lifted the pace. They've only got around about 200, 300 metres left to go, and they've whittled it down to 2, but it could be a real sprint on between these 2.
Oh, this is the moment, isn't it? Gebrhiwet in full flight. Not often you get to see this unless you've got tickets for the biggest events in the world. Hagos Gebrhiwet, ladies and gentlemen, he's a world champion over 5k on the roads. He looks like he's going to be a Podium Festival champion here today. He's got about 180 metres, 190 metres to run. He comes under that last gazebo, that last banner. Watch the time on the clock as well. He's definitely going to be inside that course record. How fast is he going to run? And we're looking out for the domestic Brits, but he's put on a bit of a display over this last 500 metres. Hagos Gebrhiwet, ladies and gentlemen, 12:42. We've got 5,000 metre royalty here at New College in Leicester. 13:18, 13:19 for Gebrhiwet, donning that ASICS kit as well at the first Podium festival. Amos Langat in second place, Daniel Kosen in third, and now, Hannah, all eyes on that domestic battle. Where's Will Barnacle?
It's almost like the fog is robbing us of the win here. Jake Whiteman going underneath in front of me just now, but I've missed the group before and our camera has gone down. I think that's Will Barnacle a little bit further down. He has been caught by some of those athletes. There's Axel van Christensen just at the tail end of that chase pack. Jake Whiteman has won the race of the rest of the pack, and he's probably beaten his training partner, Zach said, and there he is just across the line. Great run from those men underneath, 14 minutes. But I do think we did just see that bright yellow vest of Puma and Will Barnacle in the middle of that domestic pack that had chased him, so we're going to have to wait and see